Hi, Ron with Wind River Outdoor Company here, and we are going to go over some green caddis larvae today. This is a species that's very prevalent in the Rocky Mountain West, a really important bug in the springtime, late February through middle of May, depending on the elevation of streams. This is the first real good hatch that a lot of us Western anglers get to fish in the spring. So this is a caseless caddis. It's typically got a bright neon green body to a darker green body, black head. Again, it is a caseless caddis, so it's on the bottom. This can be a shallow water insect to deeper water, but it depends on flowing, well oxygenated water. So if you're going to be fishing in the springtime in the Rockies, this is a good one to have in your bag. So the materials are very simple. Basically, you just need we're going to be using some Vivus thread in bright green. You can also use green dubbing on this, chartreuse or lime. The head is typically black, and for that, I like the Ice Dub Peacock Black or the Ice Dub UV Black. And because this is a nymph pattern and it is, they're always near the bottom, I always put a bead on. And today I'm going to be using the Firehole Black Nickel Tungsten. In shallower water, I would use a brass bead, and in really shallow water, when you're sight nymphing, I tie these patterns without beads as well. For the hook today, I'm going to use the Firehole 317, size 14. This pattern can range from size 8, being on the bigger side, to down to 18s and 20s. Primarily, this is a size 12, 14, 16 game. But you will see various sizes across the board, so have a box full of these. I also will be using some black ribbing on the body, and I will be finishing this off on the body just to make it more durable with some Fly Coat by Loon. Remember, when you use the fly finish with them, it's a cure. You got to use a black light as well. So, okay, and then the head cement right there, hard as hull. All right, I'm going to get set up in the vise here, and then we'll go over the pattern. Okay, so we're back. Got the hook set up. Put the bead on. Remember to make sure that countersunk beads, the smaller end of the bead, always goes to the front of the hook so that it doesn't cover up the eye. That way you can get your tippet in easier. So this is set up. We're just going to simply start by tying in our green thread. And remember, if you're a dubbing guy, that you can choose to use dubbing on this instead of green thread. I just find that it goes faster. I'm more into production tying and getting out on the water and using these rather than just spending time at the vise. But nonetheless, as you can use other materials for the green body. So we're also going to tie in the black wire for the ribbing, and we're just going to work this back to the bend of the hook. Because this is a thread body, you don't have to worry about covering up the gape of the hook, meaning the difference between the point and the shank of the hook. So we're going to go back a little further than what we normally would. You want to try to get this in as uniformly as you can, and then winding forward is just be consistent and build this up. The reason why is when you use ribbing is if the thread body is uneven, it'll throw your ribbing off. Do the fish care? That's a good question. I don't think they do, but nonetheless, if you're tying flies, you're probably a little bit of an OCD like me. So the next thing that we're going to do is bring the ribbing forward, and remember, as on thread bodies, you generally want to go reverse on the wire that the direction that your thread went. And the reason for that is if your thread breaks and the wire is going counter your thread direction, it'll actually hold it in place. If it's going the same way, wire tends to, or the thread will tend to unwind on you. So just wrap the wire forward. We're going to put a couple wraps on it. We'll just helicopter the wire off. Again, you can use a pair of scissors. Just make sure that if you're cutting wire with scissors that you use the same pair, because wire is really prone to dulling the cutting edge of your scissors. So, all right, so now we only have one step left to do, and again, I'm going to use the black ice dub in Peacock Black. I like this a little bit better, and it's got that translucent green sparkle to it. Some guys use Peacock. I found that on these deeper patterns, it's just much more durable to use dubbing. If you're sight fishing, you know, I still like to use Peacock on those, but ice dub is just such a good material. So we've got a little bit dubbed in here. Some people, you can switch over to black thread here if you'd like. Use a low wax thread or low tack wax, because ice dub can be difficult to dub. But we're just going to work up a thorax here, and we kind of want to build that up, kind of give it a little bit of a figure eight, so as you're tying in, it doesn't want to fall off each other. And then we're going to give it just a couple wraps right behind the bead, and then a quick whip finish. Kind of give that a little tug, cut it off. All right, the only other step that I do is, and it's probably wise to do it before you dub, but I generally put just a very light coating of the epoxy finish, the thin finish, just a dab on the back. And again, it is thin. And I'll use my whip finisher here to kind of get it spread out. Remember, is you got to have a black light when you're using that epoxy to cure it, because it's the black light that actually cures. And if you don't do this, your patterns will be a mess, because they just there'll be that tacky feel to it. The only other is just a quick hit of thread cement. You gotta be real careful here, is just touch the bead, let the bead kind of suck it in, and kind of clean up your mess. So that's it. That is the green rockworm. I can't tell you how many days that this is saved, because I found once fish get keyed in on these in the West, is this can be literally a game changer. There's a little bit of a scraggler there. I'll clean up a little bit. You don't want to cut it too tight. You want to make it look buggy, but this is a great pattern. Don't be afraid to use this. Again, deeper water, I would say waist deep or deeper. I like using the tungsten bead. Under waist deep, I use a brass bead, and then in real skinny water, knee deep or less, I'll just dub the head and not put a bead on it. That way it's not hanging up in the rocks all the time. But anyway, this is Ron with Wind River Outdoor Company. Wishing you tight lines. Get out there on the stream. Enjoy it. Have a great day, folks.